Do you want to lose weight, but your life feels like it's tied to the scales? Do you want to be able to get away from that? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about why it is healthy to get away from the scales and steps on how you can do that. Hi, I'm Vanessa McLennan, and I help people with their binge eating and overeating by helping them to work on the inner them so that they have a life free from food stress. So if you'd like to know how you can live a life free from the scales, keep watching. We have been, really, let's say, good all week. We have been eating all the healthy, right things. We've not eaten anything that we shouldn't have. So it's only natural that we want to step on the scales and see the results of our weight loss. But, if we step on the scales and then they're not showing the number that we want or we're hoping for, this can have such a negative effect on us. Makes us feel really rubbish about ourselves, very despondent and very unmotivated to keep going. And that's the trick. How do we keep going? But we can see that our emotions and everything that we've got to do with this is tied in to the number on the scales, and that's what we want to get away from. In an ideal world, we will be able to see our weight loss by the clothes that we're wearing, how well they fit us, by our bodies changing shapes, and by also how well and how good and alive and energetic that we feel. So, our emotions then are dictated and governed by us. So irrespective of what the scales say, or irrespective of, what anything else is, we feel good just purely because we feel good and we're eating the right foods for our body. So in other words, we are eating what's called intuitively. But that's only when we are at a stage where we are so in tune with ourselves that we know what are the right foods for us and what exercises and what thoughts and what behaviours we need to do to keep us in our optimal prime, position and our state of health so that we feel good. And therefore, when we can get to that state, it really doesn't matter what number is on the scales because we feel good and we like ourselves regardless of anything else. So, sounds too good to be true, not at all, but here are some steps on how you can get to that. Cut back gradually. So if you weigh yourself every single day or, every 2 days, then start cutting that back to once every few days, to once a week, to then once a fortnight, to once a month. And then we want to get to a place where we just weigh ourselves every now and again. If we are in a state where our emotions are dependent on what the scales say, then we're not living, how we want to live. So we want to get to a place where, as I say, we feel how we feel regardless of what the numbers say. Now, it can be really practical to weigh ourselves every single now and again but we're using it as a measuring point, as a guide to where we are on our weight loss journey to help us, tweak and change things that as we go along to help us continue with our weight loss. But what we want to get away from is our emotions depending on what number is there. The scales is just a tool. So learn to see the scales as it's a weighing, measuring tool. It's really handy when we go to the post office, we want to weigh a parcel, the scales tells us exactly that. Really handy when we go on holidays and we need our suitcases under a certain amount, we need to know how much they weigh. Okay, but the suitcase is not human. So in other words, if it's overweight, we can take things out of it easily, or we can shove a bit more in if it's not the weight that we need to. And so the suitcase does not get hurt, it gets upset, if we need to change the weight of it. And then this is like, it can be like us, okay? We're not suitcases, it's not as easy to do that. But if we are, attached to the number on it emotionally, this is where we get upset and hurt. So detach our emotions from that scales and we see it as a measuring tool. It's just a guide as to where it is that we are. And if we're off track and if we're put on a bit more weight than we want to, it's then looking at ourselves to go, okay, or looking at that journey to go, why, what is that? And looking at the practical elements instead of being emotional about it. So it is a tool, and it is exactly that, a tool to help us know and track where we are. Learn your body. When we can step away from the scales, the trick is to learn about your body. So learning how it responds to certain foods. Does it like it? Does it make us, have energy? Does it make us feel alive? Do other foods, make us slump and want to just go, oh, and feel heavy? When we're learning about ourselves, we can then start learning about our emotions and how they are causing us, or what they're affecting us, to do. The better that we feel inside of ourselves, the lighter, the more energetic we feel, the more we want to eat healthier food, because we want to carry on this good feeling. So intuitive eating is when you are listening to your body, you're feeding your body the foods that you want. You're learning about your emotions and what causes you to eat, to be able to manage the emotions rather than using food as a cover up of emotions. So when we can start to learn all of that, that is our guide for our weight loss journey and our bodies and how we feel. That is a guide for where it is that we want to go to, rather than the scales. So spend the time learning about your patterns, your habits, what you like, what you don't like, what your body likes, and this will help you on your journey to weight loss. Beware of the all or nothing mindset. When we step on the scales and the number is not what we hoped or wanted to, it can put us right back into a position where we feel, despondent, very negative, very down about ourselves. And it can either cause us to do two things, which will be either totally pig out and just think, so what, this is waste of time, I'm just going to eat what I want. So we totally go, all gluttonous, let's just say, or we go into the other side, which can be, right, it's not what I want, I'm going to really restrict myself, I'm going to be really strict on myself. And that is not a good place to go to either. So we want to sort of get away from these two places, and we want to come to that intuitive eating, that middle ground that is a balance for us, where we feel happy in what it is that we eat, but we're still making healthier, better choices for ourselves, so we're still on that weight loss journey. So just be careful of going to these two places, and when we can step away from the scales, we can start to avoid that, and we can start to find this happy medium ground that's right for you. Learn to love ourselves. Weight loss is a journey, and I'm sure it might sound like a real cliche that we are where we are to where we are, and it might be very easy for people to say, love your body, look at things that you love. But it can also be really difficult to do that if you're in a position where you don't love your body, you don't like the shape that you're in, and actually you want to lose weight because you want to get a better shape. You want to feel healthier, but also you want to look better. So rather than looking for, aspects of your body that you think, right, what can I like? Look for qualities within you. Look for things that you love about yourself, so that you are becoming more accepting of you on this journey. When I say accepting, I mean accepting of where you are on the journey, what you're like, what your ups and downs are of the journey, knowing what your challenges are, and just knowing that this is you, this is part of your life. And when I think we can find that acceptance within us to go, okay, this is what I'm like, this is where I am, this is the challenges I'm going to have ahead, but this is, what I'm enjoying about the journey, that also helps motivate us to get to a better place, and it just keeps us moving forwards to that place that we want to be. So good luck on your weight loss journey, and let me know in the comments below, what do you think of losing the scales? Thank you.